Yeah, what's up guys? Just an extra video today because I want to dive in the charts. I saw a couple of things with Bitcoin and altcoins that I found like, oh, maybe I have to cover that. So let's cover that. Welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on your bell notification and let's not waste any time. So we have been talking about the total 3, which is the altcoin market, for quite a while already, right? And what we mostly said is this. Altcoins are still in this falling wedge, right? Since the beginning of the bear market right here, November 2021, we've been in this wedge. We tried to break out, was a little fake out over here, and we got back in it. It's kind of the same as what we did last cycle. We were also in this falling wedge. We tried to break out, did not manage, fell back in it, and we even fell below before we finally got out. Now, disclaimer. By the time we got out, it doesn't mean instant moon, right? Although we went from 28 billion over here to all the way to 100 billion over there. So altcoins on average did a 4x. We still made it was technically a low. All right. So that's one thing that I notice a lot. If people, see the market move a bit to the upside or whatsoever, they feel like, oh yeah, alt season, bull market. Doesn't have to mean that, all right? We can still go down lower than where we were. However, that's what altcoins are doing right now. For Bitcoin, right, we were in the same kind of wedge. However, Bitcoin already broke out of that wedge in January, right? 6 months ago. So that's already one thing that I would like to say. What Bitcoin was able to do 6 months ago, altcoins did not do that yet. Also, this is on the weekly chart, and this red and green line right here is the bull market support band. It gives you support in a bull market, therefore it's called like that. And that was driving us down all the time, right? We got a rejection here, we got a rejection here, we tried again here, we got a rejection, and also we broke that in early January. Now we found support over here, and we just found support over here as well before we got this move up. Now that's quite interesting, right? Because anytime you get into a bull market, that's beautiful where you find your support, right? Does it mean a bull market? Let's take a look. What I noticed on altcoins at first is that I didn't use Fibonacci on this channel a lot, right? But let's use the Fibonacci tool to see some things. So if we take our Fibonacci tool and we take it from the downside till the upside, what do you see? The 0.5 and the 0.618 is the golden zone, basically. That's where you want to get in or offload, depends on the direction, right? But that's the big zone usually. What I notice is that if we put that Fibonacci tool over it, it actually comes in line with this diagonal line over here. So this is another very strong resistance level for the altcoin market. Right now, if we zoom out, you again see already that this falling wedge is very strong for the last more than 1.5 years already, right? But if we look at the Fibonacci tool right now, it comes in here perfectly, right? Where we had this resistance, where we have this support, little fake out, but whatever, and where we are getting rejected right now. We had a little fake out over here, as you can see, but yeah, go back down, right? I have to draw it here. So that's why we get rejected. So this is double resistance right here. Now I must say that like a couple of weeks ago, we had to break like 370 billion for the altcoin market to break out of this wedge. Now it's sitting at 335 billion, give or take, right? So it's getting, of course, because the wedge is coming down, it's getting lower and lower and lower, right? So what does that mean? Well, it either means that or we got to break out anytime right now because we are pushing this resistance all the time, or we will get a rejection again, right? And then we can get lower and lower and lower. And at a certain point, yeah, we will break out, of course. And then the downtrend as we know it is over. But again, just like last cycle, you have to realize, although the downtrend might be over, it doesn't mean that we are in a bull market yet, right? Here we broke out of the downtrend February 2019. The low was March 2020. Okay, so although we broke out, the low was in more than a year later, and that's when the bull run really started. Right, and then you have to be very careful, of course, because if a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers and people on Twitter and etc., they will call for a bull market and an alt season right here, and they will make you FOMO in there. If you took that to the top, you made an 11x on average. Congratulations. But if you are a little patient and you buy more towards the low and you ride it to the top, you don't make an 11x, you make a 40x. And therefore people say, yeah, just dollar cost and buy the dip. Well, yeah, like you'll see the difference, right? You don't want to try to time the bottom, but you also don't want to just buy there and buy there, because it's this right here makes all that difference between a 10x or 40x, right? Or between a 20x and an 80x. So that's something that I really need to say now. Yeah, when we look at the Fibonacci tool again, we will have some strong resistance levels, right? I do think that the 0.318, if we break to the upside, will be a massive level. We have, of course, that resistance over here. We have major resistance over here. So it all comes in line. So we can draw a pretty decent line over here. And it quite lines up with a couple of things, right? Resistance, support, a lot of stuff going on right here. Resistance. And then we have the 0.382. Sorry, I said something else. Coming in over here. We have the 200 weekly moving average coming in over here. By that time, it might be slightly different, but that's that red line that you're seeing coming in over there. So that's a huge level for the altcoin market to break. And then the potential upside might be here. And if stuff really goes crazy, then we even can get over here at 600. So that's a 2x for altcoins on average, right? Low caps probably a lot more, higher caps less. That's how it works. However, we are not there yet, right? I mean, we still face huge resistance, major double resistance. And yeah, you have to look at it like this. We are under this falling wedge. We are under the 0.618 on the Fibonacci tool. We are under the bull market support band. We are under this moving average, this yellow moving average, the 50, 100, and 200 weighted moving average. We had support over here where my cursor is right now. If you draw a horizontal line, you will see that there is a lot of support here, 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 here. That will be major resistance, right? So the 0.5 would be a big level as well. So altcoins still have a long way to go. So as the way I look at it, purely from this chart, there is basically no support and a lot of resistance. All right. Doesn't mean we cannot break to the upside. Eventually, resistances are there to be broken, right? That's how it works. So, but yeah, that's one thing that I'm looking at. Now, this really depends on Bitcoin at the moment, if you ask me, right? Because what happens right now, Bitcoin is breaking out, right? Bitcoin is breaking out. But what's breaking out together with Bitcoin? The Bitcoin dominance. Right, and that's funny because I've drawn this. Let me remove it and draw it again so you can see it. The Bitcoin dominance is also breaking out. Let me get back to that. But if you draw a Fibonacci tool over there, what do you see where the 0.318 is coming in? Basically where we are sitting right now. Right, and that also comes in line with some support over here. So it could be that the Bitcoin dominance we'll get a rejection right here. And we maybe retest 49, 48%, something like that. Altcoins run a bit against Bitcoin. I get all these comments like, you were wrong. Okay. But that could cause that altcoins will do well against Bitcoin. It doesn't necessarily mean that altcoins will do well against the dollar, right? Because it also depends what Bitcoin is doing against the dollar. So if we look at Bitcoin, what could Bitcoin do in this case? Well, let's use that same Fibonacci tool for Bitcoin, and let's take it from this. Let me take a look. From this low to this high over here, right where we got the pullback. You see, perfectly where this stop for us is sitting, by the way, right? Where we are sitting right now. If we draw it, where do we get exactly the 0.618 resistance? Where we are right now. So I would not, maybe I consider putting a short into Bitcoin at the moment. Maybe. Right, because this is quite a resistance for Bitcoin. Quite a resistance for Bitcoin right now. And a pullback towards, well, 25, but at least, 29, but maybe even 25 could definitely be possible. It's also where the bull market support band is. If we go down a little bit right now, the bull market support band goes down with it. So yeah, it could be interesting. So in my opinion, and this is probably not going to play out, but I'm just speculating right here. In my opinion, what's possible to happen, Bitcoin gets a rejection. Therefore, the Bitcoin dominance gets a rejection. Altcoins go up a little bit against Bitcoin again. And therefore we can take a look at the total 3. And that's also interesting because if you take a Fibonacci from here to here, then where, does the 0.618 comes in? Exactly where we are right now. So this gets support. Altcoins go up a little bit against Bitcoin. It all quite lines up. But then it depends on if the Bitcoin dominance is going down harder than the Bitcoin USDT pair. Because that could also cause the total 3 to get a rejection right here, because that's currently sitting at support. Again, resistances are there to be broken. At this specific moment, though, every chart is sitting at the same resistance right now. And the opposite charts, so for example, like I showed you, total 3 divided by Bitcoin, is sitting at support. So all in all, my speculation, and don't do anything based on this though, is that Bitcoin can come down. Bitcoin dominance can come down. The total 3 can come down. And total 3 divided by Bitcoin goes up. A little bit, right? Not like major moves or anything like that. Bitcoin back to 15K now, or or the Bitcoin dominance to 40% again. But we have seen altcoins getting so extremely wrecked lately, right? It's insane how fast that was going, right? Bitcoin dominance was on a run. We need a pullback. We need to cool off, right? Usually that's what you see if something is going up. It's what we saw. We went up, down, cool off, up, sideways, cool off, up. Well, can we come down, cool off, and then up to the next altcoin destruction road, right? It's also good for Bitcoin if it does that, right? Also good, because what happened so far is that Bitcoin also, first leg, down, second leg, down, third leg, down, right? Makes a lot of sense to me, to be honest. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I want to play around a little bit with this over here, by the way, because this is quite interesting. So if we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance right now, right? And the Bitcoin dominance, again, if you are interested in altcoins, then the Bitcoin dominance should be your top 3 favorite charts, because this exactly says how altcoins are looking, right? It's so perfect. It's so freaking perfect. And we got this beautiful support on the 200, by the way, this red line right here, like beautiful support. And it is, wow. But if we now overlay Bitcoin, let's just see what we find, right? If we find anything. So let me check. So you just see, right, that Bitcoin dominance is following Bitcoin. The orange line is Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is just following Bitcoin at the moment. Whenever Bitcoin goes up, the dominance goes up with it. That's quite interesting, if you ask me. However, we are now also at the stage that where Bitcoin itself goes down, the dominance still goes up. Bitcoin was going down from here to here. Well, what happened? Bitcoin went up that part, right? Maybe you can see it better on the daily. Let me check. So the Bitcoin was going from 28,000 to 25,000. And in that same period, the Bitcoin dominance went from 48% to 49%. Right? And that's troubling for altcoins. Right? Because of course the Bitcoin, more money is going into Bitcoin now that Bitcoin is going up. People feel like, oh yeah, let me take my altcoin money and put it into Bitcoin, safer, more returns right now. But whenever Bitcoin is going down, people still convert altcoins into Bitcoin. So can you imagine how hard altcoins bleed? Yeah, and that's interesting if you take a look at the last cycle, right? At the last cycle, Bitcoin, check this out. I have to get my... Look, this is the dominance here. We were also, sorry if you can see it correctly, but these bars are the dominance, right? Orange line's Bitcoin. The dominance was kind of in a range here as well, between this level and kind of this level, right? And what happened? Bitcoin, it went at a certain point, it went down quite a lot from 18K all the way to 3K. But what happened in the meantime, the dominance went all the way up. So although Bitcoin was crashing, Bitcoin was dominating the space more than altcoins. So that says something about how hard altcoins got wrecked over there, right? And that's kind of what it looks like is happening right now as well, right? Bitcoin dominance is finally breaking out. At a certain point, Bitcoin will have a correction. And it might be possible that the dominance will keep on going up, right? You see how hard we fell right here? Who says we can't grow that hard as well? Yeah, and that's the thing then. That's what's gonna really, really, really wreck altcoins. And I had some discussions here and there with people like, yeah, no, like you said that CDFI can go to 20 cents. You're crazy. That's never going to happen. Why? So far, it happened every single time. But yeah, if I said that about something, someone's altcoin, then that person feels like, nah, with my altcoin, that can't happen. Okay, if you say so, I'll be careful just to be sure, right? So far, that's happened. So yeah, why not, right? And that's what I'm looking at the moment. Again, if you look at the total 3, so this is basically every altcoin on its Bitcoin pair. Right? If you look at the total 3 right here, you just see that it's finally going down. So although the total 3 was holding up here against Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin in this period from here, this was the end of the bull market, November 2021, right? From this point, Bitcoin was going down, right? Altcoins on their Bitcoin pair were holding up quite well. So they were going down, but only because Bitcoin went down, right? Now they are going down against Bitcoin. But what we see right now is, and altcoins go down against the dollar as well, but what we see right now is that Bitcoin is going up, right? So altcoins are going down on their dollar pair, but not so hard. But that's purely because Bitcoin is going up. What do you think will happen if this keeps on going while Bitcoin also sees a correction? That's the point in a bear market where you really see altcoins go down. And we haven't seen that yet. You might feel like, well, sorry, but look at this. We haven't seen that yet, again. And then I would like to refer to, for example, Cardano again, right? Because it just has history. Again, the first part of the bear market, you saw Cardano. Let me remove this here. You saw Cardano going down from the top 80%. And from there, another 80%. And that's kind of where we are right now. Almost, not even, right? We were sitting at almost the same level and we are now here instead of here. But that's where we are right now. We are now in the second 80%. But after that, Cardano came down another 84%. Right? And this was the part where Bitcoin was going down as well in its second leg in the pre-halving year, right? 2019, which is comparable to 2023 in this 4-year cycle. This was where Bitcoin was also going down while the dominance was shooting up. That's the point where altcoins get destroyed. Altcoins haven't been destroyed yet. Look at this. Cardano went from $3 to, where the fuck are we? 30 cents. 10 times as low. That's not getting destroyed. That's like, that would have, if it stops here, that would be the very, very, very best altcoin bear market by far we ever had. Right? By far. That's not what I think is realistic. Look, check this chart. Where do I have that chart? This is gonna be beautiful. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So look at Cardano, for example. The blue line, right, is 2009. This was the last bear market, basically. Cardano is really reflecting. It's not specifically about Cardano, but Cardano had a full bear market already. It knows how to survive, and it's a good average, right? But what Cardano did from the top in the last bear market till the bottom, it lasted 802 days, right? For your info, we are now at day 660. All right, so we have 142 days to go still to get on average. And I'm not saying, well, here is where we bottom. That won't make any sense, but on average, right? But also, if you look at, so we are time-wise, we are by far not there yet, right? At least half a year to go from here. And that's why I think altcoins will bottom, like end of the year. But also price-wise, right? It's like not far down so far. We are now sitting, if you look at the text, peak 1, bottom 2, ROI, 0.04. Right? That happened in 2019. Eventually, we came to 0.02. We are now sitting at 0.1. Last cycle, it went 5 times as low. 5 times as low. Ethereum went to 0.06. We're now sitting at 0.4. 6 times as low. XRP. In the first bear market, that was in 2015, this was the bottom. But I don't know how comparable 2015 was back then. Because we had less altcoins, less liquidity, it was less mainstream. So let's also check out the last bear market. Time-wise, we're there now. This peak 3 is where we are right now. ROI, 0.27, right? The peak is 1, so you can basically say we are now 27% of the high, right? So it came down 4x. What it did last bear market, 0.05, 5 times as low. Litecoin, I don't know from the top of my head though, where we are right now, time-wise, very much longer. Very much longer. You could say that this was the bottom. You could say. I dare to say that, maybe. If you look at how this looks, then you might feel like, okay, altcoins are doing very well this time. How come? How come? We have the SEC. We have a potential recession coming up. We have all these regulations, securities, this and that. Is that a good reason to explain why altcoins are literally holding up 5 times better? I think that we still have a long way to go for altcoins, to be honest. Check this 3 months out. This was the bottom, so here we finally started to go up. If we take it to the peak, after the bottom, we did very well, right? So let's say we repeat this cycle, give or take, right? Then we could do something like this and go down and then go up. So, you know, I'm not saying like wait for this bottom to buy, right? You want a dollar cost, but it is so extremely far above what's at least to be expected that I feel like, yeah, you can like, yeah, it depends on you, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. If I look at Cardano, for example, right now, let me do this. If I look at Cardano right now, and this is every altcoin basically, there are like a few exceptions. I feel like, okay, do we want a DCA right now? Let's be very straightforward right here. We have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? And we are now like, we have to break like at least 48 cents to officially make a higher high, right? We have a low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, right? So it's still making lower lows and lower highs. Again, you don't want to DCA something that's going down. You want to DCA that's something that's going sideways. Right, that's the bottom area at least. And that, again, you know, try to time the bottom, but you want to DCA in the bottom area. Otherwise, you could have just might as well bought here, here, here. Then this is somewhere you average. And it's now here. Do you think that then DCAing is smart? Right, and if you're like, yeah, but if you just DCA now, again, that's exactly what people thought right here as well. Who says it won't get here? Then you will regret this, just as the people that regret this right now. Yeah, and especially on its Bitcoin pair, that's already falling way harder. So if you somehow feel like, oh, I got so much FOMO, I want to buy something, why then don't you just buy Bitcoin then, right? Because 1, it's less risk, and 2, it's higher reward, because on its Bitcoin pair, it's already going down extremely hard, right? So why would you buy altcoins right now? Tell me why. They're getting wrecked, right? If you would have bought Bitcoin first, you made profits, right? Because Bitcoin is already up pretty far. And second, you can now, again, buy Cardano at the bottom. If you want to buy it on its dollar pair, you can also buy it around the bottom. But bottom was quite far from where we are right now. And we'll probably make a new one. Right? But with Cardano, Bitcoin, it's like, this is the bottom. So, and that goes for a lot of altcoins. Also, if you look at AVAX, for example, yeah, you might feel like, oh yeah, altcoins are doing so good. We have a green candle. Oh yeah, fucking bull market again. Yeah, alt season. Let's buy alt season. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's a lower low. And they're all lower lows and lower highs. Right? And then you might feel like, yeah. No, okay, well, yeah, okay, cool. Then when should I buy? Well, look at Bitcoin, AVAX Bitcoin again, fucking going down so extremely hard. Why didn't you just buy Bitcoin? Why? You made a 2x on Bitcoin already from the bottom. Well, it's the safest. And all these speculative high-risk altcoins are more risk. And at the end of the day, you lost. Right? Still, it's another big-ass red candle. And we will have days where we do this. And you feel like, oh, it's going better until we do this again. Wait for a new higher high or a higher low at least. But when I look at this chart, it's going like this. It doesn't look bullish to me at all. So yeah, and the projects that I like most as well, by the way, look, I mean, Cetify, right? Fantastic. It's terrible, right? Cetify had double support right here. Yeah, great. Double support. Who says that this is the bottom? It's a lower low, right? I could have also drawn the line here. Also, bottom, right? resistance here also. But we broke that, and now we are on the way to the second, and then we are on the way to the third, and then we are on the way to the fourth, right? Until it stops making lower lows and lower highs. I'm really not that interested in deploying a lot. And that's fine. At a certain point, it will, maybe it's here, maybe it's low, but at a certain point, it will do this and get the bottom, right? And it goes sideways for a while. Fine. I don't like, then I miss out on the bottom. I'm not trying to time that thing anyway. But in the meantime, by saying that in like a year already or so, I don't even know, I'm saying I'm not buying altcoins. I saved myself a lot of money. Because if you look at a lot of altcoin charts, you'd be like, if I bought somewhere, would I have been in profits right now? No, right? If you, like, again, they're exactly bought here, well, congratulations, right? Exactly on this wick, you made 18%. How big is that chance that you exactly time this bottom and not this one or this one or this one? That's not possible. It's not possible. So people get wrecked all the time with altcoins, right? And then again, that's in this specific case, CeDeFi on its dollar pair. But then also I look at CeDeFi on its Bitcoin pair, right? And if you look at CeDeFi on its Bitcoin pair, I still be like, oh yeah, sitting at the low, right? It's literally sitting 2 Satoshis above the low. This is the low, right? So every single time someone buys the low, you bought here, you bought here, you bought here, you bought here, 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 here. Who says in a couple of months we can say, oh yeah, here, 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 here? Why? If you have so much FOMO right now, then just buy Bitcoin. Safe, higher reward. Low risk, high reward. Why would you buy something that's high risk, low reward right now? Well, that's what every fucking altcoin is at the moment. Everyone, every single one of them, even Ethereum. And so it's kind of stupid right now, to be honest. If you buy alts. Especially if you look at the charts that I've just showed you, like all the altcoins compared, divided by the Bitcoin market. Yeah, it's in a free fall, right? And this is our support zone. Care to guess where that is. It's 50% lower than where we are right now. So even if Bitcoin stays exactly where it is right now, altcoins can still go down 50%. Best possible case scenario, altcoins will go down 50%. Okay. So what if Bitcoin goes down 25, 20K, or even a double bottom? That would give us altcoin prices that people are scared to hear, right? Best case scenario for my outlook at this point, and there could be an invalidation at some point, but so far, best case scenario for example, CeDeFi, 40 cents. Best case scenario. But if Bitcoin decides to have just a decent correction in the same time, CeDeFi 20 cents, 30 maybe 10. It is not unrealistic. Again, I don't know what coin you really love, but I can give you a very bearish target on it. A very bearish target. Because it's just not looking good at the moment. What do people like? Phantom maybe, I don't know. Okay. Well, Phantom came from 350. Again, best possible scenario, 15 cents. Right? But from there, it could come down another 50% though. 7 cents Phantom could happen. 6, 7 cents, maybe here, this point. Could happen. Right? Please keep that in mind. We've been hovering here. People thought this was the bottom. again, we've been hovering here for Cardano as well. People thought it was the bottom or here. We went down way lower than that. It's too long. It's long enough. But these are a couple of charts that I'm looking at the moment. So this is, in my opinion, very likely to happen. Again, doesn't mean we cannot bounce here, right? And that makes it worse, right? Because then people get the hope like, you see, altcoins are doing fine. Let me buy more. Yeah, and then you go down again, and that's what gets people extra wrecked, and it fucks with them emotionally. So that could definitely all happen still, if you ask me. And going down on the total 3 towards, well, this level right here, give or take, definitely possible, right? And you said like, yeah, but 50%, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is including stable coins, right? So this, of course, doesn't come down that much, right? Because stable coins don't go down. So, yeah. Including Ethereum, by the way, is also not looking good. So if you have the altcoin market and you feel like, okay, yeah, but what about Ethereum? Because Ethereum is holding up. Well, if you add that, it's still like getting wrecked. And that's also what you can see. Where's that chart? Because people feel like, oh yeah, Ethereum is doing great, right? Well, against Bitcoin lately, it's not doing so great, right? We broke key levels right here. Ethereum was going down since September 2022, right? Lower lows, lower highs. We just made a lower low again. The lower high was already there. And we broke this, right? You can say like, okay, you could put it like here, right? On this fake out right here. Cool. Still broke it. Still broke this moving average at 200. Ethereum is now also looking to get wrecked. And maybe it's all fake out, but it's still a lower low. Can't do anything about that anymore. Right, so whenever Bitcoin corrects, which, you know, Bitcoin is now going down from 31 to 30 and a half, give or take, whatever. It's fine. It's nothing too crazy yet. But yeah, if you look at altcoins, it's already not great because Bitcoin is just breaking out like crazy above its bull market support band, above its falling wedge, right? If it goes down a bit, like towards 25, still nothing wrong. Bitcoin's above all the support. But yeah, altcoins, they still be like, fuck, I can't get out. And once we finally get out, there's that fucking bull market support band again. Right, like, oh shit. So yeah, I don't know. Be a little careful when it comes to that. The total crypto market, by the way, I haven't looked at that in a long time, but look at this perfect resistance right here, and where we're sitting right now, where we got a rejection. Charting is beautiful. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. See you tomorrow.